Imagine if the woman you loved most looked you dead in the eye and told you you're not strong enough, you're not worthy, and in a blink of an eye, she vanishes and ghosts you. That is what happened to my podcast guest, Nikon Gormley. This was one of the toughest podcasts I have ever sit through, and the reason for that is because it was very personal. Because I also had a similar situation in my life years ago. I had never talked about openly, and so I was shocked because I had met Nikon moments before. And when I opened up my podcast, as I always do, about what was your transformational moment, I was so surprised that he would basically open up completely and share this super vulnerable moment with me. And so I felt compelled to do the same and also share my story. And so this was really tough. Now, you might ask, what does that have to do with founder stories? And the question is valid, but I would argue that a lot, very much so. And the reason for that is because I would point to, for the same reason that you getting in shape and you making sure that your physical health is at its best, for that same reason, your mental health, and this obviously includes your relationship, those are also super important, because you can't really get anything done unless you are in a good mental state. And so if your heart is broken, then you have a problem, because you can't really think about anything else. And as we will discover in this interview, it took him a long time to turn it around and to get from emotionally scarred to empowered, resilient, and strong again. It took him 2 years. And there was one thing that helped him to let go and to turn it around and use this for growth and to use this story to become a better human being. So let's just dive in, and excited to share this with you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Nomad CEO. I'm here today with Nikon Gormley, and I'm really honored. I feel honored, and I'm excited about this conversation, since Nikon is half Thai, half American, I think. Yeah. And he's a transformational coach. So you all know, guys, that this show is about transformation. It's about rebounding. It's about getting back on your feet. And this is really a guest that I think it fits perfectly into what I'm doing here. And also, he's got some experiences that he wants to share with us. And so I'm just going to ask the same question I always ask at the beginning, which is, Nikon, what was your pivotal moment? What in your life? What in your journey? On your journey, what was your pivotal moment? And yeah, welcome to the show.
Firstly, thanks, Roman, for having me on your show. And I also deeply appreciate the work you're doing here and creating a platform for people to share their transformational stories, because I really believe that stories transform and inspire, because they show us that it's possible to get through things. They show us perspectives that we might not ever hear, because on social media, as you know, it's a lot of highlight reels, things people doing well and achieving things, but we don't get to see the underside of it. So I love this platform and I love this idea. So big credit to you, and thank you for your courage to share your story as well. So to answer your
Thank you.
question, what was the breaking point? There were so many, but I'm going to pick the one I think would relate the most. It was the end of 2020, like November, December 2020, experienced one of the hardest, deepest heartbreaks I've ever experienced. It was a brief relationship, but this woman had told me, told me that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't wealthy enough. I didn't have enough status, that I wasn't good enough to be with her. And I loved this person so much. And it was one of those things that broke me. I think every man, we all have secret fears about that, right? Trying to measure up, trying to be good enough. Am I making enough money? Can I be a provider? But to have someone look you in the eye and tell you that you're not good enough for all your darkest fears was incredibly fucked up. And that broke me. Like that, literally, it broke me. And by this time, I had already done a lot of training and understanding about myself, but it still broke me. And it made me hit rock bottom, because nothing mattered for 2 years. No amount of success, no amount of pushing or grinding, none of that helped. So you imagine all my usual ways of coping with heartbreak and deep emotional trauma didn't work. Because what do we usually do, right? What I usually do when I experience heartbreak, I work my ass off because that's a good distraction. I go to the gym. I do all these things to try and improve myself, but all my attempts to try and control how I was feeling all of a sudden didn't work. And I was like, fuck, I am so fucked. All my usual ways of dealing with this difficult emotion. So what do? I was lost. For the first time in my life, like I was really lost. I remember during that time, I would call my best friends and I would say, "Hey, I need you to stay on the phone with me for the next 10 minutes because I can't do the next 10 minutes." I had friends all around the world, so I had a list of people in different time zones that I could call depending on when my down feeling would spike. And so I had my I call them my samurais, people who would stand up for me, who would fight for me. And if I were to go deeper in that feeling right now, I just remember hopelessness because I'm doing everything I know to do and it wasn't good enough. Helplessness in the sense that my best efforts were failing. Like a really dark, dark time because I was doing well in work and business, but it didn't matter. No amount of money would have made me feel better in that moment. I was burning out because when someone tells you you're not good enough and because you're not making enough money or you're not strong enough, you just like overcompensate, right? So I just burnt out. And I was running on for 2 years, I was running on like 5% battery, just pushing, pushing, pushing. And it was dark time. And I would say the breaking point in that story is actually even before that, man. I remember I spoke to like 6 psychics from around the world, like, what's going on? What's this girl doing? Does she still love me? Like I was fucking nuts. I spent like $1,000 on psychics in every different country. Like, okay, maybe the Thai ones don't know. I had to call the Americans. And, like, I was doing like visualizations and shit. I was like sound like thing that attracts your partner. I was maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I'm the piece of shit. So I'd like go deep and like reading about relationship. Like, it was bad. It was like bad, bad. I never told anybody this story. And then the breaking point came unexpectedly when I was near my house and I was having lunch, and there's a university nearby called ABAC University. And in that university, there's a Catholic church. For some reason, unbeknownst to me, my feet guided me to go to that church and sit in the back. And I'm not religious. I'm not Western religious. I grew up Buddhist and I became agnostic where I'm deeply, deeply spiritual, but I'm not religious. But that day I found myself in the back of the church. And for the first time in a long time, I felt quiet and peace. People were doing the thing, but I didn't care. I was like, I don't know why, but I just need to sit here. And I prayed for the first time in like forever. And I remember the prayer, and it was something to the effect of, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. So I give up. This life is yours. I don't want it anymore. I'm done. And it wasn't like it was complete surrender. Even saying it now, I get emotional because it was like rock bottom surrender. I have nothing. I don't know where I'm going. I'm lost. I'm giving this life to you. My will is your will. My will be mine. Your will is mine. And then I said that not expecting anything because I've never really been in a church. I remember the answer was, okay. I was like, that's it? Like, okay. Just, I was like, that's it? Like, I surrender. That's okay. It's like, yeah, it's okay. After that, everything changed. What I mean by that, like it was like this and then like that, where I felt more guided. I felt there was less of me involved in my life, less of my thinking, less of my overwhelm, less of my good enough. It's now that you've seen the worst and now that you've learned to surrender, now we can help you. Now you can listen to
Now
a higher
you've
power.
managed to
Now you
let
can
go.
listen
Oh
to
my God.
what is wanted of you. And in that moment, I really gave up what I wanted for my life, and I asked. It was like asking life, like, "What do you want from me?" Because I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And after that, teachers started to come in. I started meeting the right people. Business started to get better, almost suspiciously, supernaturally. By that I mean like I'd bump into the right person in the coffee shop, like, "Hey, I have this problem, and you have the solution. Here's money." I'm like, "Really? Like, do you want to go?" No, no, you're the guy. Like, okay. Like people would pick me out of the crowd, like, "Hey, I've been told to talk to you about this thing," and I would get like big contracts, and it was really powerful, and I'll never forget it. And I still go back to that moment of surrendering, of thinking, what can I give up? What am I holding on to so tightly that I'm suffering from? And that was my darkest, lowest moment that changed everything. And I'm so grateful that I experienced that because I learned so much from it. It showed me how much I was holding on to myself, my fears, my doubts, my insecurities, my hidden insecurities. It felt like I got in touch with the feeling of life, like the true feeling of life, beyond thinking, beyond thoughts, like a deeper feeling of aliveness. And in that feeling of aliveness, I found guidance, I found purpose, I found at least a way forward. And I made it wasn't even a decision, I just knew to follow that. It was like, "I'm going to decide." It was like, "I'm gonna follow this now, wherever this takes me." And that brought me back into the light. It it healed me, it guided me, um, it relit the fire on my burning coals that I credit to my own transformation of who I am today.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Nikon, thank you so much for sharing this because it's a very vulnerable thing to do. And now that you have, I have, I want to share. I totally resonate with this because it happened to me too. And I've never said this. And what I'm going to share now is also the first time I'm going to share this. I have a very similar experience that I've never shared with anyone because it was also so painful to me. And this is a few more. This was before my it's actually before my company went bankrupt. Before I went bankrupt, it was still in Mexico, and I also was in love with a girl, and I was totally in love. Like I thought, like I was like I was so happy about this relationship that I thought things were going well, and but it was she didn't tell me like with you in your case where she literally told you to that you're that you were not good enough or wealthy enough or you had enough status. She would just she ghosted me like in a moment that I knew. We went on a trip to a place called Yelapa. It's in Mexico on the Pacific side of Mexico. It's a small and I bought this and I went there with her. And it was like this super luxurious hotel and super nice boutique thing and where you could not actually drive. You had to take a boat, and then something happened. Something that I said that upset her, but I never really figured out exactly what it was. And she just left and did not leave a note. She just left and I've never seen, after that, I never saw her again. And this hit me so hard that, I was so fucked up for months and years. I was actually at least a year, or I don't know if it was a year or two, like in your case, but I was also completely screwed up for such a long time because I hated myself and her so much for not letting me even know what the fuck just happened. So I was just asking myself, why did she actually, why would someone do this like that? Like when you're, and so I, and this is really, I mean, this is fucked up on so many levels that I can't even tell. But the problem with that is that obviously I don't even know to start where, but this can be bad for you. I mean, I want to shift the focus again on you because this podcast is about you, not about me. I just wanted to share that
Yeah, we can talk
I
about it. Yeah, because I really believe this is something a lot of people go through. Like, and because I didn't say that part of the story, but it was exactly the same. This person ghosted me, and I got that message that you weren't good enough. And same thing for you is like, am I like, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. Like, I hate this person. How, like, why would you ghost me? Exactly the same. Exactly the same. So I really Getcha. I really believe that what you spoke about, so many people deal with. And I didn't say that part in my story, but it was exactly the same. The girl I was deeply in love with, I thought was going to be my wife. I was super happy, ghosted me just out of the fucking blue. And then I got that message like, you're not good enough. You're not wealthy enough. And I was like crushed. I was so crushed. It was like, how dare you say that to me? At the same time, like, maybe you're right because you know me so well that I am good enough. Like, oh, yeah, I know so many people deal with that, and it's so hard to go through. Like,
yeah,
you,
I would actually argue that traumatized. I don't know if my bankruptcy and losing all my shit and my existence and my money in 2021 was as hard as that. I can't tell. It was a different type of trauma and pain, but it has shaped my. So I'm definitely, and I'm gonna be honest here. This is again, I'm not trying to look better in this podcast because we all have fucked up parts of us. We want to shadows that we want to face, and so it has had a negative impact on my how I go into a relationship with women because because I'm more cautious now. I don't want to get hurt anymore, right? So you can hurt someone badly by ghosting is really fucked up. I mean, men do this too, and I don't want to be unfair to women here. Men are also guilty of this as well. So we're not better at. I guess a lot of men do this who have special. But I mean, the dating issue is a controversial one. But there is this what we talked about at the beginning, like this we need more encouragement from men, because I mean, right now most men are getting the short end of the stick in terms of dating, and this is for a variety of reasons. But also I blame, because the trick is not we should not become like misogynistic, which is always what you hear. They throw around this term, misogyny now. But what I am trying to get here is that women are encouraged to do this shit, while men are not, right? This bad behavior in relationship, women are actually encouraged to do this crap. And you see this on these podcasts, you see this in the media. So they're basically encouraged to like, as a man, you're supposed to be the bad part, the bad guy. But a lot of, I think it's the red pill philosophy around this, because there's getting a lot of flack since the red pill became mainstream. But it's really just observations about human behavior and men and how men and women behave. And a lot of the because we all, again, I don't think that men are particularly better at we're not better, I think, but I think that the romantic side of things, like how we look at relationships, like it's actually true that one of the things that you hear about in the manosphere and in the red pill space is that men are the ones that are the idealistic romantic ones, because we tend to look at relationships like in this like Disney movie style of the and the reality, women are a lot more opportunistic. That's just the reality, and we are not. We still believe like in this, and women tend to have, and this is true, this is just cold, hard truth. And the truth is that women do vet men on status, on wealth, on like these superficial things that this is just the reality. And you can, and it's called hypergamy, right? And so how we deal with this reality, this is on us, right? But there is a truth to this. And I don't know, what's your take on that?
There's a happy ending to this story, which I'll share at the very keep up for people listening. Oh, like I want to keep them listening suspenseful. Something one of my mentors said, Michael Neal, brilliant human being, expert transformational coach, one of the best in the world. He told me, people do what makes sense to them given the thinking they have in the moment. I heard that the first time, I was like, yeah, okay. But then after this heartbreak, I heard it at a deeper level where I thought, I saw that this person that broke my heart, or that I let break my heart, was really afraid and scared. And the only way she knew how to deal with it was to ghost me. And for the first time, I felt empathy. We're like, wow, like that's how you deal with things. I bet you that's how you deal with everything. But something in that helped me to make peace with it, in the sense that we're all dealing with what makes sense to us given the thinking we have in our lives. And that helped me to come clean with people, where I don't immediately judge them. I was like, okay, like you probably grew up in a world where that was normal. That's not my world, but I don't want to play that game.
Yeah.
And so, speaking to what you're saying about is, I think we live in I don't believe in ghosting. I believe in conflict resolution. I believe in being absolutely clear in what I want and what I need up front. I
Yeah.
believe in saying what I like, standing up for what I want, for having clear boundaries. And then the people who don't want to play that game, or who want to do something different, like, that's great. You can go do that over there. But in this world, this is how we are. And that really helped me a lot in getting clear in what I want and how I want to be treated and how I treat others. I can't tell you how helpful that was. And I credit all my teachers for helping me to develop that deeper understanding, that I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could surround myself with people who are tapped in, tuned in, honest, clear, have clear boundaries. It's great.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And this is just basic human decency behavior. Like, because this is just, do you have values and like a personality that is, there's just about being kind. You don't, but I
Right.
also agree with what you said, right? Human beings, they act to the best of their knowledge in different situations. Often there's just a lack of awareness, right? So it's just on its
Right.
fear-based reactions. So then she probably didn't know she probably
Do it.
just didn't know how to deal with the situation. But then there's also like what I was trying to, because we can look at this from an individual situation and we can look at it from the broader collective perspective. And the broader collective that is right now, this due to dating is just 90% online right now. This Tinder thing, swipe through, and women have just this onslaught of options. They have 20 times an average looking woman has 10 times more options to choose from than a high value guy. That's the reality, because those are the statistics, and I don't want to go into the details, but it's just the reality. And so the women, they have these. This didn't exist 20 years ago. They now have these tons of. There's often this the grass is greener on the other side mentality of things. And then this is how you end up with more often with situations like that. And then again, women are encouraged to just drop you like a hot potato, because on TikTok, there other women tell them, hey, if he's not doing this and that, if he's not living up to if he's not the man he should be, the man up and the valuable guy, he's not fit, then they're being encouraged to treat you like crap. That's really the thing. It's really happening. It's like this modern version of feminism, which is just toxic shit. And I think a lot of guys are unaware of this, and they still play by the rules they were supposed to play by 20, 30 years ago, because women still qualify you based on your male characteristics, right? Are you straightforward? Are you dominant? Can you provide? Do you have six-pack? Do you have money in the bank account? They still vet you exactly the way they did 30 years ago. There's no difference at all. They just don't play by the same rules anymore. They have a different play game now. And this is not fair. And I think a lot of credit goes to those training shows like, whatever podcasts, Fresh and Fit. I mean, they might be, you could argue, okay, there's a little bit harsh goes a little bit too much to the other side, extreme, but I still think there's a lot of value, because at the end of the day, you just see these people now talking like honestly and interacting. And so if you listen to these women, it's like, where are you living, man? What what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and then see like, and so we need to be honest about these things, because men are killing themselves in droves. And then they're opting out. The reality is that 60% of men are single now. They're not. The dating is completely. I mean, Thailand is something I don't know how. Thailand is probably, the situation is a little bit different. But in my home country, in Germany, and then the US, the situation is just it's really bad. It's just fucked up. Mental health issues everywhere, and this is true for both male and female. Nobody is benefiting from this, and so we have to find a different approach. And so, because I'm also old school, I have, what, I'm going to share another story here. One of my clients I work with is a dating coach. So he's a famous dating coach called Alvaro Reyes. He's got 3 million followers across platforms. And I've worked with him. I've lived with him. I've made videos for him. And I know nobody on this earth who has more experience with women than this guy. And he's been through all, right? He's been persecuted by feminists on his events, and he's been chased down, and he just doesn't give a fuck. But what I'm trying to say here is that I really know what I'm talking about, because I've been in this circle, and I know the big ones. Mystery. I've hanged out. Mystery, this old school. Yeah, I've been out with Mystery. I know him personally, and so I know these people, and I know their mindset. And it gets down to this: we're humans, and human psychology has not really evolved a lot. We're still the safe cave people that we were, like the triggers, the emotional things, the things that how we respond to trauma, like you did. It's just a normal human, and that we did not really evolve out of that. It's just we have these, and also attraction isn't a choice. So it's just on or off. It's like electricity. Like, so it's either on or off, and you cannot choose or negotiate your way into someone's life. Just not possible. She is either attracted by your male attractiveness, like your masculinity, or she's not. And then so that's just the bottom line. And then if we lie to ourselves and to other people about that, about what women are attracted by and what men are, because we men don't give a fuck about her status. I would wife up the 7-Eleven cashier tomorrow if she's hot, and you would too, because that's how men are. But women would never ever do that, and so we're just different. And this and this is true. Everybody knows this is true, but very few people are actually have the courage to talk about this shit.
Yeah. For sure. If I could comment on it, I like as you were talking, for people listening, I would just want to give them one thing. I'm not a big fan of rules, but this thing has really helped me is you don't have to put up being treated poorly.
No.
Blanket statement. Nobody has to put up with being treated poorly. So for me, as you were saying, like, yes, there are people who really believe that they measure men on how much money they make, on how much status. Great. We're probably not gonna be friends.
Yeah, wait.
Like, and the other one too, like men who treat women poorly and just look at them as objects. Great. We're probably not gonna be friends either. Like we get to decide. We get to create our circles. And it's so I didn't know I could do that. It's so refreshing that then so what happened for me was once you get clear on what you really want, I found that your world tends to change. The types of people you want to spend time with, what you believe in, what you clear on, what your boundaries are. And a lot of the problems you describe, at least in my experience, they seem to go away because I stopped putting up with them. I had no space in my life for those kinds of perspectives because I didn't like it. I didn't like hanging out with women who are like, oh, I'm dating this guy because he drives a Porsche. Like, I don't really want to be friends because that's not my energy. That's not what I'm about. I think we're similar in the sense I have this inclusivity about me where I believe we're all good. It doesn't matter how
Yeah.
much money. One of my mentors, Mavis Karn, said to me, she said, if your criteria for dating people is based on how much money they make or how successful they are, you're setting the bar pretty low. Like you're not including things like if they're kind, if they're a good person, if they're generous, if they're thoughtful, if they're aware. Like if money and success is the bar, that's like really low, and you're cheating yourself out of wonderful people out there. Really, that's my
Yeah,
two cents.
I I totally agree. I don't want to. I mean, the point I was making, there's also a difference, obviously, between because we all have this reptilian emotional mind and we have our rational mind. So women have that too, of course. But we just want to be aware that these attraction triggers, women are just attracted, for example, to guys who have options. That's just the reality. If you know this is true, this is why you go to a club and in the VIP section, the guy who has the most girls is the guy other girls want to be around, hang around with. That's the reality. And this is true for social media. If you have social proof, women will pursue you. If you don't, they don't care. And now, what triggers their attraction does not mean that she cannot use her rational mind and then say, okay, so I'm also interested in someone who's kind and have my values, and then apply those, and then probably not gonna marry a creep, right? Women have all, but it still does not disprove the reality of how the attraction works, right? And so how men and women, and so we need. My case is just that. Let's bring it back to the beginning because we both shared this powerful story of our own personal trauma and how we ended up being hurt so badly. And then the question then becomes, how do you prevent these things from happening? You can't. You can't really plan for this. It's just, and then it's also like this. What's good? The question and now a powerful mentor I have had is from Mexico. Reynaldo, my friend, is a psychologist, and also he has helped me overcome my addictions. And the question you can always ask, what's good about this, right? So what is positive about the situation? And so obviously you can reframe and repurpose the past in a way that you're now stronger and now you know how to deal with this, but you prepare yourself for example, maybe you didn't have the boundaries set up properly before you even got together with her, or maybe you did not see things, the red flag, because this is also proven by there's a few books about this, but when we fall in love, we completely blind. We don't see the red flags, right? We don't pay attention. And so maybe after that happened, you are now better prepared to actually spot or notice those red flags before you go full in and full commit to a person like that. I don't know. What is your takeaway here?
For me, I would at a deep. I want to speak to it at a deeper level. Because I really believe that all life, everything that happens to you is really for you. It's life trying to show you yourself and guide you home to yourself.
Tony
And
Robbins.
I have it's just this is just according to me, this is not absolute truth, is that I really believe if you don't listen to life, life will get louder until you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
maybe it's the script of life where life plans or puts things in your path to make you see certain things at the right time, at the right moment. So for me, to answer your question, it would be I learned to surrender to life. If I were to put it in a sentence, this taught me to surrender my control, my insecurities, my all about how Nikon's doing. Am I good enough? Am I making enough money? To surrender that all to life, to give that up all to what life can be, to really listen to life at a deeper level. Now, things would happen after that I can't explain. Like I would date women who on paper, perfect. On the surface, perfect. Really hot, really great, really charming. But there was something inside of me that's like, this is not the one, Nikon. I'm like, but she's really hot. Like all these, and life's like, but she's not. And sure enough, it would, like 2 weeks later, we would break up. Like something would happen or it would fall apart. But I knew enough. I stopped trying to improve myself because like, oh, there's nothing wrong with her or me. She's just not the right one and I'm not the right guy. So it was being able to listen to life at a much, much deeper level. And if you ask people about this, everybody has a knowing that they know. It might not be in relationships to be like business or like things like this way or that way. This is like a deep inclination, like, don't go this way. There's something off about this deal. And I would say it significantly improved my decision making. I stopped trying to overthink things. I just like, okay, what's the feeling here? Yes, no, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I tend to agree with that. It's also in my case, what you mentioned before about the ability to not put up with scrap, right? Being, I mean, because one of the most important skills a man can develop, I think, is the ability to just walk away and let go. That's just, that in itself is one of the most important skills you could possibly learn, because there's going to be so many moments in your life where you have to apply that letting go, like this moment, this being able to just detach from and then be okay with let's just accept what the reality, and then let go, because it's really about that. I think, and I know that from my rebound and from my story, because now I feel empowered again. I have another mission. I'm on a quest now. I'm a different. I was this nanotech entrepreneur CEO that I was feeling so important, and I thought I would revolutionize the industry with nanotech. And when that fell apart, my identity was lost too. And that is aside from the story with that girl, right? This was another fuck up. But what I'm trying to get here is that the gap between you in that hole you dug for yourself, and then getting out of that hole, the gap between how long it takes for you to get to the point where okay, I'm fine, I'm gonna get up on my fucking horse again, and now I'm trying something else, or I'm okay. The gap between, that's what counts. How much time am I gonna spend in that hole, right? Because life is short, man. And so it's really important, like the skill to let go and just okay, fucked up, but it is as it is, right? It is what it is, and then you accept that, and then you move on, and then you okay. That is a skill, invaluable skill. So if anything we can learn from these situations, it's that not spend too much time on a person that has forgot you, like 3 days after she broke up and ghosted you. I don't know, maybe she took longer, but if it takes you 2 years, it's fucked up.
I would add that I learned so much in those 2 years looking back now. And I can see how, like, I really need those 2 years. Like, imagine a cocoon, right? A caterpillar that goes in the cocoon. Like, you can't rush it. If you try and dig a caterpillar out of a cocoon, you're gonna kill it because it's not ready. And for me, I think that's something we can give ourselves, is a lot more patience and a lot more grace to really be with the things we're going through, and that know that when we're ready to do things, we'll be ready. I think that was a big thing for me too, because I was in such a rush to be successful, like immediately after that breakup, because I thought it wasn't good enough. And then through working with coaches like Michael Neal and Mavis Karn, they really helped me to slow down so I could go through that process and just fucking be with my shit. And by the time I was ready to get out of it, man, I was so ready. I was so ready. And another thing you spoke about too is I think seeing things as they are helps you let go. And that's true for every person on the planet. Doesn't matter what gender you are. It's seeing that, like, just seeing why you're holding on to things. It helps you let go. So for example, for me, like, oh, I'm holding on to this person because I think she really knows me, and she alone can validate me. And when she says I'm successful, then I'm really successful. But saying out loud, I'm like, that's fucked up. Like, why would you give all your power away to somebody who doesn't give a shit about you? I remember the day I let it go. I remember the moment I let this shit go. I was really sick. during those, like, there was a moment where I just, like, I think I had dengue fever or something and I was sick. And then I thought to myself, if I really had to go to the hospital tomorrow, would this person call me? Would this person care about me? And the answer was like, no, this person wouldn't call you. They don't give a shit. And I thought, fuck, if this person wouldn't even be the fundamentals of being my friend, of checking in on me, to seeing if I'm okay, this person has no space in my life.
Yeah.
Even like no space. Like if like we just met, but if I heard like, oh, you went to the hospital, I'd send you a message like, hey, I hope you're okay. I heard you went to the hospital. Like basic human decency. And I was like, oh wow, let it go like that. Like just like that. Dropped it. And I was like, wow, this is great. But I had to see that for myself.
Yes, and this is also true. I was also shocked. It's something, I think I saw a podcast. It's Chris Williamson. You know Chris Williamson? He's got a great podcast. The other day he talked about this too. Like there are lessons that are just unteachable. We have to experience them. They're just a basic human experience. They can tell you about this shit. Like like the rule that there's only gonna be a few, like 5 friends if you're lucky. When the shit hit the fan and you're in a rock bottom, then you're gonna be only be a few friends around, and you think, no, not gonna happen to me. But the reality is that it's true. When I lost everything, there were like 3 people that would actually care about me and then talk about and help. And like, nobody cares. So this is really tough shit. And then the challenge is you still want to you still want to be a kind person after that, right? You don't want to get bitter, and you don't want to get negative about world. And so I think it's really important for men to have a purpose, a mission, and then this ability to. You're a Buddhist. I am also resonate with what you said earlier, that I'm not religious. I was born and raised by a Protestant. My grandfather, he was a Protestant pastor. So I was actually baptized by my grandfather in my family, deeply religious from my mother's side. But I never became a religious Christian. So I just started to resonate with Buddhism because meditation is such a big deal, I think. And I started to implement that, and breath work and stuff like that helped me to overcome my darkest moments. And then this inner, like, just aware, like listening to yourself, awareness, and then wisdom comes through experience and through those moments. So we can appreciate those because the good things could not be there without the bad, right? So we it's just part of life, and the sooner we are able to let go, the better we are off. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah.
I like what you said about that, and that there's something really important what you said about how you can't protect yourself against these types of experiences, because these are the experiences that are key to you becoming the person you are meant, that life has in store for you. This is like, these are the moments that grow you, that teach you things, that help you become the person that life needs you to become.
Yes.
And we do have a choice. You can go through it kicking or screaming and like, no, I don't want this, fuck this. Or you can go through it like, okay, this is what's present right now. Let's go.
Yes, I think there is morality does exist, and being a good person is definitely, there's a definition for that. I think there is a clear path to become a better person, and it's how we react and how we use these events to become a better person, and have a vision for ourselves and so it can help, but it can also go the other way. I mean, and what's sad about it is that there's so many guys who are not well. I mean, the mental health issues that right now are just all over the place. I think part of the reason why I do this podcast is, I think, because I want to shine a light on the opportunity those rock bottom moments present. They give you an opportunity to rise above and to overcome your worst moments, and then use it to go even further beyond and grow and have it's also a story, by the way, they can share. Like, it's actually a great story that you can integrate it, because that's who you are. It's part of yourself, and it's the opposite of the shiny reels on Instagram. It's the dark side of you that is rare, like seldom. We actually both shared a story we had never shared before, right? So this is also remarkable here, because it's something that there's a lot of vulnerability, involved, but those moments are part of you, and it's a part of your story. So why not integrate it into your future self?
There's something that you spoke about that really touched me, that to know that there are so many people dealing with difficult challenges and being caught up in their own thinking. And I hope they find this podcast to know that there's hope and that it gets better and that beneath all that, they're okay. And
Yeah.
they can use life to guide them through it.
Yeah, so for me, this podcast is hope, actually, because it's how I. So part of that, I'm gonna share a little bit more about the digital nomad lifestyle. Part of this digital nomad lifestyle I've been living is that it's also there's a lot of loneliness. Like there's this male loneliness epidemic a lot of people talk about, and then there's digital nomad life is actually a lonely lifestyle as well, because for me, it's just I can now connect with people that have had similar situation, and this is for me. So I don't even need this to be particularly successful. I already getting rewarded by having these conversations because I think they're so valuable. I would obviously hope to make it a huge thing, but it's not necessary. I can already see the value here with this. So I'm gonna walk away from this, and I will remember this call because we've experienced a very personal moment that we shared, different lives, different situations, but there were definitely like moments we both experienced that were equally painful. I think problem in 2025 is also like everything is online. Very, very, there's not enough connection for guys. Guys need more male spaces. We need more communities. We need to connect more and help other guys they're not alone. They can actually reach out. There are coaches like you who can help other guys. It's about, we are human beings. We need connection. And so men, and this is very male behavior, when we get in trouble, when we have difficult situations, we tend to isolate. That's just how we are. We're just built for, we walk away, and then we try to figure it out on ourselves, because the male mind is so much problem solve oriented, and while females, they just get together and then share and then this is why women usually overcome these situations far quicker, faster, I think, than men do. And so it's just a logical thing to do for men because as I'm going to be honest here, I think the whole discussion about how men should this is just toxic. I mean, what I'm trying to say here is that this whole feminist narrative about masculinity is just one garbage. And so I think men should not listen to that. I think men should. So but also there's on the other side, there's this extreme version of masculinity, which probably also not good. The middle side, we want to. The reasonable human side like having more male spaces is an important thing to do, I think, and there's lacking. Like that, we need more male spaces so we can share these. You and I, like we just did, not happening enough. That's why so many men kill themselves and end up deleting themselves, which is probably one of the most saddest things that you could possibly talk about, and nobody gives a fuck. Why is it that why is it that men kill themselves at five times more than women do? Why is that? And why are we not talking about this situation like in the mainstream? It's really bad. There's also, do you know about this in Thailand? Is this in Thailand the same, or is this only in the Western countries?
Thailand, given that our culture is like killing yourself is in Buddhist culture is a really bad thing. Like it's one of the worst things you can do. So there's that part of it. So Thai people, it's not a common thing here for Thai people to kill themselves because okay, I know where to go with this. Thailand is a collective culture. So when someone's thinking about killing themselves, they're thinking about the impact of it on their mother, their father, their surrounding community, what it will do. And often that will kind of bring them to their senses, like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. The amount of pain I'm going to create. But it's different in Korea, because Korea, the pressure and stress is so much higher that killing yourself makes a lot more sense. Like, why would you stay? Nobody cares anyway. Like isolation, so it's not just West East, it's parts of Asia. And Thailand is a very collective culture where people spend a lot of time with other people. It's not as isolated as in the US or in the West. But I'll give you some interesting data. There's a lot of mental health tech startups, and they did data on where you can call in, right? You can call in and share your problems. In Thailand, the calls spiked in certain areas, and all the places the calls spiked were in major cities. Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Phuket, Pattaya, and they mapped it out. Like it was a cool graphic. And the three things people talked about on those calls, the number one thing was relationships. The second thing was money, and the third thing was work and career. These were the three things Thai people stress about the most. And it's an interesting topic.
Which is not a surprise because at the end of the day, that's what people care about. This is the most important thing for anyone in life, right? My love life and because career
My
and money
money,
is,
my job, and my health. And the fourth thing would have been health, right? The four things. And then to answer your question, why do people kill themselves? Because it makes sense. It made sense to me for a while until until I talked to someone and someone told me like your mind is just overheating, and that's your mind's way of telling you that like red zone. And I was fine. I stopped worrying about it. But for a while, I had a lot of suicidal ideation, especially during those 2 years. Like it was quite common. I think the worst it got was I started Googling what's the painless way to go, and Google's pretty good. Google is like, you need to see somebody. We can't help you with this search query. And then I went to go talk to a psychiatrist, Joe Bailey, Dr. Joe Bailey. He was a wonderful human being, and he really helped me see that like I was okay, that just my mind was it was overheating with thinking, and that helped me to calm down. I wish more people could talk to people like that so they could understand that they're okay.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I just tend to think that, I just tend to think that for guys, they just need a little bit more. I said what touched me a lot, what moved me a lot, is when I first saw also that, and I think I'm not the only guy. Jordan Peterson, and he also, I mean, he's a advocate for, like, he just, I think he's genuinely interested in helping people. I'm not gonna say men, but it's mostly men who listen to him to become better people, right? Persons, and he also says, like, they need more encouragement. So if in a moment where you were at your worst moment, if somebody comes to you and help and reaches out to you just to give you some encouragement, you would have appreciated that, right? In that moment. Question. Yeah.
It's interesting. During that time, I know what I didn't need was more advice. Interestingly enough, it was like, okay, I get it. I've read all the books, think positive, reframe, but it didn't help. Honestly, the thing that helped me the most was just someone sitting with me on the phone in silence, but
Yeah.
knowing
But that,
they were there, that changed it for me. Like this person gives a shit enough just to sit with me for 10 fucking minutes to make sure I was okay.
yeah,
That to me.
it's very different. Empathy and getting advice is are two different
Empathy, that
things.
was it. Empathy. Empathy helped me. That was what changed me. And it wasn't work, it was just presence. It was just someone who would just sit with me. I remember my neighbor during that time, she sat with me in the car park and we just sat for like hours. Nothing being said. We just sat there for hours
Yeah, and
while I vented.
that's what I'm talking about. Empathy, like, and basic, like, human, like empathy means that you don't necessarily have an answer to the situation, but you still listen, and you feel, you hear and feel that person. And I think we're not giving this in a collective sense enough to men, young men. They need this because they're not encouraged. There's no empathy for most men, average men. If you're an average dude, you're just not getting that because the narrative is just not in. It's just not. It's you should man up. You should get your shit together, and you should shut up.
One of
It's a
the
lot.
things,
It's a lot of,
yeah.
and that's the situation that I yeah. I think. Give
On
me a
that
moment.
note,
It's
one of the
breaking up
things that
again.
changed my life with empathy was learning I could give it to myself. I didn't know you could do that. I thought empathy was an outside thing where you could only get it from other people, but you can totally give it to yourself. And you froze. So I'm gonna wait for you to come back.
Are you back?
Oh, we're back. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
back.
So
It's recording
yeah.
on this
So
side, but yeah, I'll complete the thought. I was saying how one of the things that changed my life was learning I could give empathy to myself. And Mavis Karn taught me that. I learned that you can give yourself empathy. And the way she said it was treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. And then I was okay. I didn't need outside empathy. I could give it to myself. And interestingly enough, this is gonna sound fucked up, but it made me feel more whole within myself, which then made everything else in life easier. I was no longer dating to try and find this person to fill the hole. It was, I'm good. I'm
yeah,
good. Like I'm
powerful
looking
stuff.
for someone else who's good. And what's interesting? There's when Chinese people get married, they use the symbol double joy, right? Double joy. And it's a Chinese symbol. You can look it up. That symbol is two words. It's happiness and happiness. And the symbolism behind it is you bring your happiness and they bring their happiness, and together you create happiness together. But it's not you're needing their happiness to make you feel better. Like, no, you got to bring your own shit to the game. You got to bring your own shit to the game, and they bring their own shit, and together you make cool shit together.
Yeah,
And
that's a powerful and yeah, I love that because you're right. This is probably one of the most valuable things today I've heard because it's true. You can give yourself empathy. You can create that space in yourself of where you love yourself and you give yourself the permission to be enough, and then it's okay, and you can walk away at any situation you face. You don't have to stay there. You can just walk away, and then that's a powerful way of encouraging yourself. You don't need that encouragement from others, but but it's still a good idea to share that because we're all just human beings, right? So and then
all
yeah.
human beings. And I forget that, you know, I say that and I forget it. I forget it. I get sad. I get depressed. I get stressed. I get anxious. I still get suicidal ideation from time to time. And it's okay. That's the happy ending I wanted to give to people, that I'm fine like you, fucked up, insecure, neurotic, emotional, and I'm okay. That's the happy ending.
Would share today for them? I mean, aside from what we already discussed, but takeaways for the audience to overcome their challenges and their difficult situations. What was helpful for you? How did you center yourself and ground yourself again in reality? What would be your advice for them?
Oh man, that's a great question. I'm trying to think what occurs to me, and what occurs to me is going back to the golden rule that my teacher Mavis Karn taught me was to treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. Like it starts with you. Treat yourself the way you want others to treat you.
Yes.
You listen to yourself deeply. You are guided by life. You are supported. You are loved. There's a deeper wisdom and intelligence within all of us, and you can trust that to guide you to a more wonderful life. But you gotta listen. You really have to listen deeply. And the last one for people listening who are going through difficult times or challenges is don't believe you're thinking when you're in a low mood. Absolutely. Do not believe you're thinking when you're in a low state of mind because none of it's true. None of it
Yes.
is true.
Yeah.
It's like watching a scary movie. Scary movies stop becoming scary when you know they're movies. You're like, you know, you see the
Yeah.
makeup, you see the lighting and the music goes away. You're like, okay, this is not, this is made up. When we're in a low
Yeah.
mood, we make up shit that just terrifies the shit out of us. And that's it.
Yeah, yeah, it's so powerful. This is a lot of what Eckhart Tolle shares in his book about. I mean, we're just constantly being deceived by our own minds, like this, egoistic mind that tricks us into thinking things where, and those you're right. In those worst moments, nothing of that is true. But you know what? Also, in your best moments, in your moments of total happiness, a lot of what you think is also not true. Like then we're getting
Yeah.
on. It's the other extreme, right? So we should always be cautious about our thoughts because it's like awareness and knowing is very different from thinking at sometimes. Like the thoughts that pop up in our mind, so it's a
I could
tricky thing. Yeah.
I could give you one more as a bonus because you're listening to this podcast and Roman's such a great guy. You get the fourth one, which
Yes.
is real, true wisdom feels quiet. It feels quiet and calm. Like it feels like little whispers and knowings. It's not like loud, like fireworks and wisdom, like the light comes from the sky. It's often little nudges that just gently nudge you in the right direction. And if you listen to it, it's always there, but you got to listen to it. And to what Roman said, to what you said is learn to listen for that. And less noise, more signal. That's it.
Yeah.
Less noise. Learn to discern between noise and signal. Noise is loud. It's in your face. It's urgent. Signals are quiet and they're steady.
Yeah, and I want to add one more thing to this because it's so true, which is you can actually push these quiet moments of wisdom that can suddenly appear in in your life. Let's say you can facilitate the appearance of those moments where if you get active and you do the things that are good for yourself, like going on a run, do some exercise, do some meditation, just do the stuff that keeps your body in shape, and then those moments they tend to appear more often because mind and body is very much connected. So stop stop eating crap and stuff like that. It's all important stuff that allows, I think, to get more of those valuable moments, and then we know this is true. There's truth here. Man, this was an amazing. I want to stop right here because we should always end on a high note, right? So this is the
Yeah.
best. Was a very, it's a super insightful. I really felt I really connected with you on a deep level because I had the same situation in my life, and I really, really appreciate your time here with me, and this was great. It's really, I'm gonna, yeah. Thank you so much for being here, and just for the finishing off here, how do you, once the people are listening, how do you want them to reach out to you?
Right. I'm really active now on Instagram at Nikon, Nikon.Gormley, Gormley, and LinkedIn. So LinkedIn again, Nikon, Nikon, and then Gormley. And when I'm active on those things, like if you send me a message, I'll reply. If you comment, I'll reply. I love interacting with people in those circles. And yeah, I'd love for you to say hi. Any questions you have or any insights you want to share, I'd love it for you to share. And also, if you're listening, please help support this podcast. Share it with your friends. Share it with a guy who you think this podcast would help. I think this message is so important. And please support someone doing good work in the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nikon. I really appreciate it. Have the best of, have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye bye.
So